think it's my year.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. This is the morning show on Stock Market TV. Spencer, Steve, and the man himself, JC, back in the saddle. Can't wait to hear about his real-time channel check down to the land of Disney. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. But we have the charts. We got crypto. It's Crypto Friday, so we got crypto charts. We have a new guest today, Riley Rosebee. You may have seen him in the chat before. He is going to join us in about a half hour or so, about 9 o'clock. So if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button for me, please. And
there's a familiar face.
How about that? Who made
how
it
was
back?
it?
Who made
Disney
it back?
was a success.
Dude, they got
success.
Some racket
How'd it go?
They got no. It was a success for sure. But man, they got some racket going on there at Disney. Let me tell you something. It was great, man. Listen, I took a 3-year-old. She's almost 3.5, and then twin boys that just turned 1. So. I mean, the 1-year-olds, I mean, they were troopers as long as they were, they were napping on the Bob. Can we talk about the Bob? Greatest stroller ever, right? Unbelievable. This is like stroller on steroids. This thing is such a beast, dude. It's
like a tank, right?
It's like a tank, So the upper baby is kind of like the Mercedes, right? Or like it's like a nice car, right? But then the Bob is like our Denali. Right, like just a beast, like with the Thule on top. Like you want to rock and roll and go hardcore dad. You get on the Yukon Denali. What Bob is like that, just trucking through people on Main Street in Magic Kingdom.
What is more valuable to you in your dad life, the stroller or the Thule?
The
if
stroller.
You could only have one.
No, the stroller, because you use the stroller every day. The Thule you use like when you go like on a road trip.
Stroller with the Thule on top.
Now he found something he likes more than the Thule.
Now we're talking.
Dude, let me tell you something. Woo. No, it was great, man. Dude, it was great. I've always wondered, like, when's the right time to take the kids? I think, apparently 3.5. I mean, my daughter knows the name of I know the name of every freaking princess at this point. She loved it. She was freaking out. She didn't know what to do with herself. Her head was exploding. It was unbelievable. It's cool to watch.
What was the best park?
For me or for the kids?
For you.
Best part for me, Norway and Epcot. We were having lunch with Tiana, right? Who's this princess from New Orleans, which is cool, right? Because I love New Orleans. And who else was there? And then Aurora, who's my daughter's favorite. And then Snow White was there. That was cool. So and Belle, of course, from Beauty and the Beast. So we're hanging out with them. But the food in Norway was bomb. These meatballs were out of control. Like I was ordering. Like it was like one of these family style where they bring you a bunch of different stuff, and then whatever you like the most, just tell them and they'll bring you more.
Okay.
It's great.
Epcot as an adult is a whole different vibe, isn't it?
It is. We spent very little time in Epcot. We were Magic Kingdom mostly, but yeah, that was probably my favorite part. Yeah, that's right. And I was surprised by the wine. Their wine game's on point. I was having dinner over with the Beast. With Beauty and the Beast, be our guest, and they have a Chateauneuf du Pape. That is specifically a Beauty and the Beast Chateauneuf, well priced.
Don't they have like an Oktoberfest section in Germany too, with like a bunch of fantastic beers and stuff, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
We didn't get to that part.
Love it.
While you were out, while you've been at Disney,
you should go way more often, JC. It was great.
Eating brats with princesses.
What was so great about not having me around? Explain to me.
The market, man.
I missed you, buddy.
Was the market great? What was so great about it?
You didn't miss anything. It's still a bull market. Who knew?
That way.
What changed?
Momentum.
I don't know. It just got more.
We had a little surge off the pow pow.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, same old. I mean, I was watching. I mean, what? Stocks are going up. It's a bull market. Stocks are supposed to go up in December, especially in a bull market.
Do you feel like there's a chance that now that market seasonality has been so well advertised all year, could we be pulling forward the the typical or usual seasonal gains. It really seems to me like we're pulling the seasonality forward.
First of all, listen up, young lad.
Silent.
Every year, my entire career, they've been telling me the seasonality is priced in, right?
Okay.
I hear this they said the same thing in 2022. Oh, seasonality is already priced in. Don't buy the midterm elections. All right, bro. We were buying the midterm elections, obviously, before the midterm elections, but nevertheless, we were buying the midterm elections. I mean, so no. And then also, shout out Jeff DeGraff. Jeff DeGraff did a study trying to figure out exactly what you were just saying, if it pulls it forward. And the answer is no, right?
Mm.
It's actually the opposite. You know, when that seasonal strength in November comes in, it actually leads to even stronger Decembers, which we're seeing this time also. So kudos to Jeff DeGraff, got that one right. So the answer is no.
Okay, good. So more to come. JC, you heard it here, says Santa Claus is still coming to town. Tom Lee predicts
First of
small
all, Santa Claus rally's coming. So it starts next week? A week from today. Ooh, 1 week from today. We get Crypto Friday and the start of the Santa Claus rally.
Okay, so Dietrich, I'm very excited to have on the day after Christmas. He does a bunch of excellent work around year end every year, but a bunch of stat work. So we'll have him on to discuss that. We need Jeff Hirsch to come on the very following day.
Why don't we have no? Why don't we have Jeff Hirsch come at the first of the year after the Santa Claus rally period?
Okay, great. When does the Santa Claus rally end? Like the 2nd or 3rd?
Wednesday the 3rd is the last day. So it's the last 5 days of the year and the first 2 of the following year.
Okay, and that's the January whatever thing too, or we don't know till the end of the month for the January?
That is the January barometer is the month of January. So as January goes, so goes the rest of the year.
So he'll come back in February for that. Yeah, let's get Jeff on the 3rd.
Okay.
So what else? So I didn't miss anything?
So Tom Lee says small caps will go up 50% next year.
You guys had Tom Lee on the show without me?
No,
but I would say to that's it. I mean, the NASDAQ is up 55% this year, and small caps are higher beta. And if they rally 30%, they're going to make a new all-time high. Are they going to stop there? I don't know.
I mean, listen, stocks are in an uptrend. Bull markets last longer than most, realize. I got people telling me that this is still a bear market rally, which is one of my favorite oxymorons. But, we're 18 months into a bull market. Anybody who's actually taking the
You know what though? I want to try to get some of these bear market rally people on the show because I want to get that perspective. There's a couple frequent flyers that I keep seeing.
They have 1-800 numbers that those people can call, right? It's not over. There's people that can help you. Yeah.
I mean, Spencer, I don't think that's a great idea. I don't want to have one of these perma bear charlatans on. That's just gonna
no.
If there's somebody that
not a charlatan,
but yeah.
If you think that we're in a bear market, it's not about being a charlatan or being a perma bear. You need help. You need to check yourself into a hospital, I think.
I don't know. Some people miss this one, it seems.
Good. That's, by the way, that's perfectly normal for early stages of bull markets, is that disbelief period. And by the way, haven't we been pounding the table about this disbelief and how it's a tailwind and how you have $6 trillion in cash and these idiots are bragging about their 5% nominal yield, which after you back out inflation and back out taxes, you're probably losing money depending on where you live. You're actually paying money. So yeah, good. Screw those people. That's a good thing if you own stocks, right? And it's not that we're picking on people or whatever. That has nothing to do with that. All that is fuel to the fire, right? Those people are getting squeezed, right? Screw them. Good. I hope they're hurting. They're going to hurt more.
There's a CNBC report out this morning. They do these really stupid hedge fund surveys or millionaire surveys, I guess. And the journalist was saying how hedge funds and family offices, at least the ones that he talks to and surveys, totally missed this. So you want some incremental buyers? There you go. You know what else happens in bull markets? I got a phone call last night, sitting in my office doing some night charting. Got a phone call from a good friend who we all know and respect very much as an analyst. And he says to me, don't laugh, GameStop fundamentals look really good.
Wow.
That's
Those are words in a sentence I don't think I've ever heard.
No, that's what started the whole thing. Was the fundamentals.
And I said, okay, say more. And apparently, he's saying from what he sees, it's a viable business. We were laughing. We're like, why do they need to trade the treasury money? And he's like, they really don't, because they're okay without doing that, which blew my mind to hear. And I don't know. I haven't checked. The thing about GameStop is I can go look at the numbers right now, but I'm not going to be able to make a call on the fundamentals right now, because when you're closing this many stores, things are really changing on your income statement, right? And it's hard to forecast out into the future what that revenue growth or lack of growth or expense line growth, right, will look like when you're just shuttering all these stores. Right? There's a lot of moving parts. I don't know, but I thought that was hilarious. Not really stuff that you hear in bear markets.
I mean, listen, GameStop has a mind of its own. It's doing its own thing. You know, if you really want to own it, you know, you could take those January 23, right? The January, this January's lows, right? Retested in March. Those are the levels. What is that, 15.5?
These stocks are, the heavily shorted names have been squeezing a bit. They have been working. You know,
what's the short interest on this bad boy these days?
I think it's perpetually somewhat high. Let's check.
I'll bet 25%.
Yeah, that's pretty good guess. 24% of the float.
I'm seeing 23. Yeah, so
yeah, 23.7% of the float. Nice call.
Carvana. I'm getting text messages about Carvana from friends again. Beyond Meat is popping up on scans.
42% of the float is short on Carvana still.
Beyond Meat. Hey, speaking of dogs, great week for solar, huh? No, anyway.
There was a bullish note out this morning, right, from one of the banks.
Was there on solar? I didn't see it.
They did a mass upgrade. Well,
okay.
Strazza, do you think, you know how we keep talking about these huge bases and these sort of names, archy names and growthy names? Do you think Carvana fits that profile?
Yep, that's what I literally sent a chart to a friend yesterday that was asking about it.
I mean, look at that big base. I mean, that counts, right?
Super clean level, and it's right there. It's just about there, right? Walk away or something.
I got to tell you, I mean, listen, I was looking through some charts. I did a good job of kind of staying away. I've gotten better at that over the years. But I was obviously following the markets. We have open positions. I mean, I'm not just, I didn't go to Mars, just Disney, and the kids go to bed pretty early. So, I had time to check in on things. And but I'm really looking forward to a good Saturday morning charting session,
Yeah, of course. Always.
True. Always. Especially when you've been away for a few days, right?
Yeah.
And we got our conference call on Monday for premium members of All-Star Charts. I will see you there. And if you're not a premium member of All-Star Charts, I think your life has gone horribly wrong. Spencer, listen, you want to tell the folks how they can join the good team?
Of course. Let me drop the link to the page in the chat right about now.
So not only did you miss some really bullish new highs, right, in the Dow, and I think we got the NASDAQ now, and semiconductors and the homies and the broker dealers, but you also missed some really bullish new lows. Really bullish new lows in credit.
New lows in what? Staples relative?
That also, but credit spreads.
Credit spreads. VIX.
The risk ratios are all going. High beta, low vol going. They're all breaking out.
Discretionary staples.
The market is surely behaving as though it's a bull market.
It has for 18 months.
Yeah.
I'm not like ripping you. Just generally speaking, like anybody who's been trying to tell you this is a bear market or a bear market rally or there's a crash coming or Black Monday, or recession, the inflation, the Trump, like all these things.
Yeah.
And it gets back to market breadth, Strazza. And, you and I have had this conversation online. We've had this conversation offline. You're like, JC, market breadth is overrated. People use it wrong, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fine. That's their problem. Let them use it wrong. I promise you from the bottom of my heart that our market breadth analysis, both the quantified work that we do on market breadth, as well as just the art of it all, just going chart by chart by chart by chart, and just being like, yo, more going up, or how come none of them are going down, like we were saying in summer of 22? Like, why, remember like in June of 22, like it was like bad news after bad news after bad news, and like stocks just weren't going down. I remember saying this to you like every day, being like, why aren't stocks going down? Why aren't stocks going down? Well, because that was the bottom. That's why stocks weren't going down. And I was sort of insinuating that, obviously, as you know, but market breadth again. And it's not just the quant stuff. And I think you're right, Strazza. I think a lot of people do it wrong. I think the subtracting new highs from new lows really hides what's truly going on. I think you really want to separate them. Look at the new highs and then go look at the new lows list, right? You don't have to always be subtracting numbers,
The expansion that we're witnessing, just flipping through our scans and universes in new highs, is really awesome. Do you want to run the state of the markets bumper?
Please.
I can help you today. I got some charts here.
Can we go? You want to go straight to Crypto Friday? We have Louis here.
Let's go. Let's get a couple of charts in, then we'll bring in Louis.
Yeah.
Okay, Louis. Hold on 1 second. We'll get you, Louis. Don't worry.
Quick question from the chat. What would you guys need to see to get bearish? First of all, it's a loaded question. There's probably a lot of stuff that we could talk about there.
Yeah, how much time you got?
Yeah, but one thing I can tell you right away, these bases that JC was just talking about and discussing, how we're seeing more and more resolve higher. Well, the first thing I would say is let's see some of those start failing and reversing back into the box.
How about a stronger dollar? How about credit spreads widening? How about breadth deterioration versus we're seeing the opposite? We're seeing further and further breadth expansion. How about fewer countries around the world breaking out as opposed to more countries like we're seeing now? How about fewer stocks breaking out to new highs as opposed to what we're seeing now? How about not a new all-time high in the Dow? Like, how much time you got?
Throw up chart 3. How about not this happening? So yesterday, and let me just check the updated reading because this is without yesterday's rally. JC, new record in overbought readings.
I heard.
The most amount of overbought stocks in the S&P 500 we have in our data set ever. The only other 2 times that come close and clocked a reading over 40% would be June of 2003 and June of 2020. Bullish or bearish? Am I doing the breadth analysis right?
We're the ones that invented this, I'm pretty sure, right? Aren't we the ones that did this? Like,
Yes,
overbought. Oh, we're going to take credit for this one. Most of the stuff you guys see us do are not things that we invented. These are things that, we learned from others, our predecessors, our contemporaries, all good. And, overbought conditions are characteristics of bull markets. They're characteristics of uptrends. Stocks going up get overbought, right? Stocks in downtrends do not get overbought. They actually get oversold, right? So if you think the stock's in an uptrend and you're seeing oversold conditions, then you should probably reevaluate that thesis, and vice versa. If you're bearish a stock because you think it's a downtrend and you're seeing overbought conditions, again, you should probably reevaluate that thesis. So within our universe, we'll take a look at how many stocks are getting overbought, right? How many stocks are showing bullish characteristics? And just to be clear, we're looking at a 14-period RSI. What are we looking at here? A 14-day RSI?
Yeah, the daily. Always.
14-day that's another conversation.
When I do this style of chart, I'm always showing the daily.
Yeah, 14-day RSI, and 70 is overbought, 30 is oversold. And we're calculating the percentage of stocks getting overbought. And as you can see here, historically, when you're seeing these thrusts, that usually doesn't happen towards the end of the cycle. Usually happens near the beginning.
Look, you could find ones that come at the end. None of these indicators are ever going to be perfect. This doesn't mean go run out, reverse mortgage your house and buy everything tomorrow. In fact, it probably means, if you want to talk about time frames, probably means we're a little bit overextended and due for a little short-term pullback.
All it is just further evidence of what we've already been seeing in so many other places.
There being an overabundance of momentum or a relentless amount of demand for stocks is just not a bad thing. It's just a characteristic of bull market. So
that's right. But we already knew that we were in a bull market, right? So it's not like this earth-shattering revelation, like, oh my God, did you see how many stocks got overbought? It's like,
Well,
like this is the quantified data, so we can actually visualize it. But
yeah, you're right. And this is
just common sense. Like, yeah, like before seeing this chart, I'm like, yeah, we probably got a lot of overbought conditions, right?
fine. To be clear, this is the lazy way to do it.
But it's not that it's a lazy way to do it. It's that it's one way to do it, not the only way to do it.
It's one way to show it. It's one way to show it too.
It's the best way to show it. That's correct. That's right. That's right.
Okay, next chart. Let's just talk about the dollar real quick because JC's been out for a week. He's probably having withdrawals about not talking about how important King Dollar is. We got new lows in the dollar while you were gone, sir. So are we front running this seasonal weakness? Next chart. This is showing the monthly performance going back to what, 1980 in the US dollar index DXY. December is the worst month, but if we look at how that performance kind of takes place throughout the month on the next chart, it usually doesn't happen until pretty much the way end of the month, the Santa Claus rally time. You really see the dollar sell off. Have we kind of like, taken some of these losses early here? Or are we looking for a further dunk?
I mean, the catalyst for higher stock prices has been the dollar all along, right? It's not the Fed or the pivot, right? What was it? What are they calling the pivot?
Pivot.
And then you got the taper, and then you got the what else? You got the non-farm payrolls, right? It's not that. It's the dollar. Dollar go up, stocks go down.
Yeah.
Dollar go down, stocks go up. Remember, you guys even made fun of me because on one of the conference calls, I said that, and I was like, all right, everybody can leave now.
Go home. Over.
It's true, though. So weaker dollar, higher stock prices. Like whether, so like for me, it's not like always a front running. It's like, wow, the dollar in the first half of December is actually supposed to be kind of sideways, kind of choppy, not crashing. So the fact that we're seeing such weakness in the dollar in an environment where it's not supposed to be that weak yet, it probably means that you got a lot more weakness coming in the dollar, which, if you've been paying attention, probably means that stocks are going a lot higher.
And then I want to get Louis on here, but real quick, somebody in the chat is saying you missed Tommy. And it was great. He came and he talked all about breadths and his breadth dashboard that he uses to do his top-down analysis. And we thought, wow, that's really cool. Why don't we do that? So here it is.
There it is.
Oh, you could barely see it.
So then what do we got? Explain to me what this is. See, now we're talking about something that I actually missed. So number one, who's Tommy? And number two, what's going on here? I don't even know.
Tommy Lackey, right?
Tommy Lackey.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So we're simply calculating the percentage of stocks at new highs, the percentage of stocks overbought, and the percentage of stocks above the intermediate term moving average by industry group.
Okay.
Yeah. Putting it all on the table.
So the takeaway, even though we can't really see, is a lot of green, not a lot of red.
And a lot of green where, right? It's real estate, technology, cyclicals is looking pretty green. Financials is getting greener. Industrials, right? So then you'd be able to just drill in, find those green squares, you double click them, you drill in, you see the components in each group, and you can take a look at the charts.
Can you drop that in the research slot? Because I literally can't read it on the screen, but I am very interested in this.
We'll work on the format, but
do a horizontal.
And this is the kind of stuff we can do.
Also, by the way, don't be afraid to turn one of these tables into 2 pages. Like we don't have to just shove everything into 1 page all the time.
This is version 1. We literally just did this in a day.
Okay, fair.
So,
by the way, question on the chat about the Zloty. Zloty making new 20-month highs this week. Polish Zloty. Again, Zloty coming through. The Zloty had it right all along. Zloty bottoming in September. Early October.
I've been trying to find. I know I have Zlotys hanging around somewhere. I can't find them though. It'd be fun to have on the show. Can I bring Louis on?
Please.
All right.
Got my fingers on the pulse, avocado and toast, leather seats, jet plane, always ready to go.
Hey guys, how's it going? How's Disneyland?
Well, I went to Disney World. Disneyland is in California.
Not the same thing. Not the same
thing.
God.
Okay.
Not the same. I think you get off cheaper in the Disneyland in California because there's not much going on there. You got like Magic Kingdom, and then you got the Universal one maybe, and then like that's all you got. And but over in Orlando, in Florida, they got some racket going on there, Louis. You better work hard, buddy. You got, you too, Strazza. You better start saving for these Disney
One of these
trips.
days, I'll
Jeez
make my way
Louise.
over. Well, I'm looking forward to going over to New York in a few weeks. That'll be great. I mean, obviously,
We're
first time in
looking
New
forward
York
to
for
having
me.
you. I'm gonna take you to some neighborhoods that
We're going to eat some pizza, Louis. Pizza and sandwiches and bagels. Lots and lots of bagels. Don't
I'm
you
looking
worry.
forward to it. Hey, we had some great Mexican food when we were on the West Coast. Now we're on the other side. We're gonna have to try some pizza, try some bagels.
yeah,
I'm gonna fully trust your guys' food recommendations.
no
over there.
Mexican food when we're in New
Mexican
York,
food.
right? They don't have Mexicans in New York. They got Jews and Italians, and we're gonna take advantage of their cuisines.
That's it. Boom. All right. We have a lot to talk about in recess, too. So much to catch up on. All right, Louis, what is more important right now to these cryptos and the rally that we've seen in cryptos over the past month and a half? What's more important, the dollar or interest rates? JC,
Dollar.
hold on. You could disagree with them.
I really don't think it makes a difference. You're overthinking it.
I'm
That
over
doesn't really matter.
How?
Just
It don't
look at
matter?
both of them. Just look at both of them.
But you got to
Louis
pick one.
right. Louis right.
So are you saying they're going to move in the same direction anyway?
Well, they have been.
Yeah, they have been.
They don't always.
No, but they have been, and
slide-
now is the only
slide
time
six-
that
slide
matters
six
right now.
of the slides that I showed. People think that the halvening is this big deal, but guys, come on.
I think
The
that's
real driver here is what's happening in the dollar, what's happening in yields. This
it up.
halvening.
throw up that chart. I think that's such a great take, Louis. Right? Because
I have a lot of those.
we get lost in the weeds sometimes. We go on the Twitter, we listen to the crazy ideas on Twitter Spaces, and people are talking about happenings and the happenings and the flippenings. But really, I think it's as simple as this. Another risk asset, a really good one this year.
That's it. The best one, actually, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you really just don't need to overcomplicate it. It's just a macro story, and it's funny. I've said this before, how the halvening tends to line up with liquidity cycles in the past, and so again, it's the same scenario here. That's what's that's what's driving this market.
You want to talk about the flippy dipty? Throw up the ETH Bitcoin.
Ooh, flippy dipty.
Because I've been waiting for it, and I'm getting frustrated with all my Ethereum right now. Everything else is working pretty well.
Well, look, ETH just broke out of an 18-month base, and Bitcoin is in the process of testing overhead supply at a key Fibonacci extension level. And so if there was ever going to be a place for ETH to catch up to Bitcoin, this would be it. And remember, it's normal. It's normal for Bitcoin to lead the initial rally and then to get that rotation into ETH. And so the fact that ETH is just breaking out now and it's at a logical place to start seeing some outperformance, I wouldn't just get impatient and just sell your ETH and buy BTC when the ratio is sitting at support.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I've been patient.
And so you really are seeing an aggressive bid down the cap scale. I really just want to look at helium. I shared a helium chart in this deck. We put a post out on helium over the last this was a few weeks ago when it was breaking out above 2. It's now at 8. It's quadrupled in the space of a few weeks. An absolute animal this thing has been. And so again, you really just don't need to overcomplicate it in this environment, and particularly for crypto bull markets. Buying breakouts is just fine. This is what happens in crypto bull markets.
Well, buying breakouts is what you should be doing. It's more than fine. I don't know how else you would do it.
Well, I mean,
you could be buying dips too.
There's a lot of breakouts that ended up failing, and so, I mean, it depends on the market environment that we're in.
Right. This is a momentum market.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you might feel like you're chasing something one day, and then you look back, the chart looks like this, up like 4x. And
The conversation that we were all having, Strazza's like calling Sean, trying to get Sean to convince him to take some profits in certain things, and Sean's like, "Nope, you're not going to get it from me." Right?
When was this? When was that? Huh?
Like a couple of weeks ago, remember?
Taking profits, what, an Uber?
No, just in general. Remember, you were calling Sean, like trying to be like, "Hey, Sean."
Yeah. Yep. We're in a total melt-up market right now. But I do think, continue to think it's more than prudent to take profits in your winners. Nothing
And
wrong.
a point that I really want to hit home on is I want to go to our crypto index. I shared a chart of that, and sure, over the recent few weeks, you could potentially say that we might be extended in the short term. But the fact of the matter is, our crypto index hasn't even broken out yet.
Your crypto
And there's a
index.
lot of long-term bases. ETH just broke out of an 18-month base. This is the beginning of a new long-term uptrend. And so a lot of these things have yet to break out. And so you can't really get much more bullish than that.
The custom altcoin index already went. This one will look like it soon. It's the same thing that we're seeing in the stock market, right? You could say, oh, ARC Internet went, or the software index went. ARC probably follows, or
Doesn't this look like Carvana?
follows.
This looks like Carvana.
I mean,
That just looks like speculative tech.
It looks like speculative tech. Yeah.
it's like
Super
ARC.
long duration growth. Yeah, all that.
All right, great. So which ones are we buying this weekend?
Which ones are we buying this weekend?
Yeah, what are we
Again,
YOLOing
I
on
like to
Saturday
keep
morning?
it simple with ETH. I know that Injector
Fetch.
Protocol,
Fetch?
Fetch AI. I know that you had Caleb on the other day, and he was talking about Fetch AI. That's a great looking chart. It's
New
breaking
highs
out.
today.
I'm long.
Yeah, exactly. Injector Protocol. I know that that's a name that we've been on for a long time.
For good
And if
reason.
you go to one of the slides that I showed, that's a long-term chart of Injector Protocol, all-time highs. Come on,
didn't get
doesn't
into
get much more bullish than that.
This thing was making all-time highs before anything else was. Like stocks doesn't, or not new all-time highs, maybe new cycle highs. I mean,
Yeah.
this thing's been moving higher for a while, dude.
How big is this one, guys? Do we
Big
know?
big enough.
It is, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How about this TAI? What is it?
Celestia, this is
This is brand.
at the end of this cycle. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing at 100. Honestly, this thing has been a beast.
Now,
Ever
how
since
small
it
is
came to
this one
market.
though? Is this like a tiny new ICO, or is this?
No, man.
No,
This is
that's a
2
decent
billion. This
size.
is 2 billion.
I'm asking. It just came out.
Yeah, 2 billion. And
didn't know.
injective protocol is 2.7 billion.
It's like the ICO market is hotter than the IPO market again.
Yeah, that's true actually.
Hey now.
Only because the IPO market is non-existent. You see. So there's your denominator fallacy.
Okay.
And so tell me, what are you guys seeing in the crypto markets at the moment?
I'm seeing the dollar getting the shit kicked out of it. I'm seeing the stock market in a raging bull market, not just domestically but globally, led by tech, which is perfectly normal for bull markets if you've actually taken the time to go back and look for yourself. And the fact that cryptocurrencies are working, and we're seeing breadth expansion in cryptos while we're seeing breadth expansion in the stock market. I mean, I don't know. Why should anybody be surprised by any of this? Like, this is all perfectly normal, common sense. This is like stock market kindergarten stuff. Like, this is like the first thing you learn in the market. Like, right? This is just perfectly normal stuff.
And I love this tweet that that Walter Deemer put out. I think it was yesterday, and it was just a quote: the most bullish thing the market can do is get overbought and stay so.
Yeah, that's right. Walter Deemer's got a few. He's got a few more gray hairs than me. He's seen a thing or two.
He's a great tweeter.
He is. He tweets those little beautiful quotes at the perfect time.
Like,
dude, he's the man. Walter. How come we haven't had him on the show?
He would love to come on.
You can ask him. I asked him once before, and I got politely declined.
Really?
So you can ask him.
He's been on my podcast before when I had a podcast. Yeah.
He was very polite, but he said
I'll get him.
right now, not a good
I'll get
time.
him
He loves us. He was
okay.
just Okay, we got Riley here. Moving on now.
We do.
What's the hold on. We got Louis still. Hold on. Louis, so you asking us? I'm asking you. What's the trade?
Yeah, you
What's
tell
the
me.
trade? ETH. I love ETH. above that 2150, that's a nice easy
ETH
trade.
against dollars. ETH against dollars, not BTC.
ETH against dollars. ETH against dollars. Yeah, and then
It
the
better
relative
start
trend at a
outperforming.
logical place to bounce.
Yeah. Okay. If
Yeah.
if the base remains valid here, the base breakout, do we start to see that ratio move higher? I think it's pretty likely.
Absolutely, I think we do.
All right. All right, fine. I'll remain patient.
Good. I know that you texted me the other day saying, should I buy this algo? Should I rotate?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, and it's like, bro, just stay patient.
I'm not rotating. I'm not selling. I'm just buying more. I want to own them all.
Strazza sent me a text and he said that he's CYO for next year, so Chief YOLO Officer for 2024.
I do like that.
I love
I
that
do like.
mentality.
I did like that tweet. I'm not against that.
Nothing wrong with having a little fun while we do this.
Exactly.
Chief YOLO Officer.
Also, things you don't hear in bear market.
I've heard Steve
top.
called way worse things than that. So
All right. Thanks a lot, Louis. Guys, follow Louis on Twitter.
Later, Louis.
As always,
Later.
the handle's
Good
on the
talk to you
screen
guys.
there.
all right, Sean White in the house. Thank you.
He doesn't know who that is.
Well, we do.
But we do. Okay. Should we bring Riley on?
Please.
All righty.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Hey now.
What's up, boys?
Oh, you know.
Hey.
Why do you look like
This
you're
is
like
great.
on a ski? You look
Do you
like
not-
you're on a ski trip with like your high school.
Do you not have heat
Here's
in
the
your
thing.
house?
It's a little chilly up here in Sedona in the mornings. And no, I don't like to turn on the heat. I like to wake up and get a little cold, and then you got to put all your clothes on. Then you go outside, you get the fresh air on your face. You know how it goes.
Are you doing cold plunges these days, Riley?
It's
No,
trendy.
it's very
Pretty
trendy. I'm not there yet, though. I'm not there yet. I haven't been getting into the gems or the vortexes too much up here in Sedona, but that's
How's the
probably
golf
gonna
game?
come in the next-
Can you beat Strazza yet at golf or no?
Oh, he's already beat me. How is the golf up there, though?
It's phenomenal. It's absolutely gorgeous. It doesn't get as hot as it gets in Phoenix. The golf course is way less busy.
Yeah, that's nice.
Absolutely immaculate. The only thing I miss is I'm not down at Tempe to go play at Rolling Hills, Grass Clippings' new lighted golf course. Because
All right.
How far of a drive is that?
it's like 2 hours. So if you guys come out,
That's
I'll
not
come
bad.
meet you down there. But no, but you can't go make that trip every week. So
So what have you been up to, Riley? Talk to us about this new thing that you're doing here. Did you bring charts?
I didn't really bring any charts, mainly because yesterday there were like almost 500 names on the new highs list, which is about a quarter of the stocks that are above $1 billion in market cap. So this is just a snapshot of them, but it goes on for pages. And really what I've been looking at is stocks that are making new 52-week highs and new 52-week lows. Relative strength is kind of my North Star. I definitely picked that up from JC. And these were the names yesterday. You could see there was 4 new lows compared to almost, like I said, 500 new highs.
This crap silver miner, this SSRM, it goes down every day. Precious metals stocks are up like 10%. This thing's making new lows.
It's a dog.
Anyway.
I also do have to give a shout out to Spencer. A few weeks back, he mentioned the relative weakness in China, and that has been a common theme popping up on these lists every single day. There's usually 1 or 2 names from China, just absolute dogs. So I'm not sure what's going on over there. I know we did a little channel checking this summer out there, but
You know what it
it's
is? That
interesting. You can't catch a bit.
capitalists don't like communists. That's what's going on. They're getting punished for being assholes. That's what it is.
I put a big YOLO on a real sketchy Chinese small cap yesterday.
No, which one? Can you share?
It's a bull market. These are the things you can do in a bull market.
Yeah, that's true. You can get away with just about anything. I do want to ask you guys though, are you looking at charts within the NFT space? Have you been looking at, I mean, I know we're talking about Crypto Fridays and
My crypto punk's making new 52-week highs. I'm not upset about that. It's an ETH play is really what it's turned into.
I think the answer to your question would be not enough of them, though. I would love to look at more NFT price charts. Why?
I'll probably have to go circulate some. Well, it's just, I mean, things are getting a little percolating, and like, if anything's on the far right end of the risk sale, it's these NFT projects. And so I'd be curious to see how these bids are getting propped up. Maybe not propped up's the best word, but just getting absolutely thrown up there. So, I mean, I have one NFT from my little stint back in 2021 left, and like it's tripled in the last like few weeks. I'm not doing anything with it.
Mine's still worth 0.
Let's talk offline, Riley. I got some data for you.
Cool.
So Riley, what's this universe? Is this all stocks or the social mentions?
So this is just all stocks above $1 billion.
Right?
Yeah, this was
Linzen inspired.
This was a Linzen list for sure. However, the one kind of tough thing is StockTwits is doing some work on their data front, and so for the last few days, they've blocked web scrapers from using their data, and so the whole kind of like extra little secret sauce that we could sprinkle on top of it of sorting it by the followers on StockTwits, like that was kind of what made this unique. Is not accessible at the time. So it's like
they paused their API.
Well, no, the API has been offline for probably months, maybe years. But they're working on some new data product. And so they were like, okay, we have to shut this down before we can open it back up. So I don't know. There's a little kink in the wrench, but I was like, I'm not going to go scrape these followers.
Well, hold on. Let's take a step back, because the whole idea behind this is that these are stocks that are showing relative strength, stocks that are making or approaching new highs, but have very few amount of followers on StockTwits. So in other words, stocks that are doing great and no one's caught on to yet, essentially, right? So like a social sentiment squeeze.
Right. So rather than looking at stocks like GameStop that are followed by hundreds of thousands of folks and have all kinds of players involved, you're looking for the stocks that nobody knows about, that are making new highs, that are just plugging along. And for whatever reason, nobody seems to care.
Put the list back up. So all these are like boring names?
No, you can't really say that for right now, just because since StockTwits has blocked those web scrapers, we don't have that second level of integration. I mean, we could pull up a table from like last week, and you could see them being sorted by the followers.
Yeah, I want to see the StockTwits data. There is a nice base in Couchbase, though. It's ticker symbol based. Isn't that ironic? Is that
some
ironic?
of these names are absolutely insane.
A lot of REITs on here.
Dude, a lot of REITs.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can send this to Spencer.
I do like the thought process of stocks showing relative strength with very little interest, right? Like that's an interesting data set. I like that a lot.
Literally every home builder is on this list, though.
And then because these junkies don't want to trade homies.
And then look at all the building products and equipment. You know, homies had one of their best days in a long time yesterday.
I do. You know that we
high.
had more new highs on the New York Stock Exchange yesterday than we've seen in years. You know, it's not a characteristic of a bear market.
Don't say it.
Strazza, I know you were talking about, can we zoom in on that? Strazza, I know you were talking about potentially taking a little bit of risk off after this epic move that we've seen over the last few days. Is that still kind of something you're thinking about?
Yeah, what kind of cheap
small caps are at the top of their range?
You have to understand that a lot of times when I'm talking about taking risk off, it's their kicker positions that are literally just short dated calls. And when you get a big move like that in short dated calls, they move very quickly and they can pay very nicely. And you don't want to give it back, especially if you have expiration 2, 3, 4 weeks out. A lot of my calls are in January. So you have to look at the charts and think, okay, that's great. But how much better is this going to look if I continue to hold it for another 4 weeks? And does the theta wipe away any of those gains? Right. So
that makes sense.
It's not holding common would be easier. And I'm not rushing to sell longer term positions in common, but the options you got to pay yourself when you make.
Yeah. If you were holding some large positions in the small caps and capture this move, I mean, I wasn't expecting this move to kind of break back to the top of the range as quickly as it did. Would you be kind of kicking a few things, waiting for that little sideways action before we break higher? That's kind of how I'm potentially looking at it, but it's like
we have oversupply.
You never want to sell good stock.
there's overhead supply in the small caps running into the range highs from the base, right? Russell 2000. Then also the strongest indexes, the large cap indexes, are facing overhead supply at their old highs. So I think an index broader market perspective, there's a lot of reasons to think that, boy, this is a logical level to correct a bit and digest some of these gains over the past 6 weeks. Going on 7 straight up weeks, that's great. It's one of the longest streaks in the past several years.
Yeah.
So you're bound to have a down week in there soon, I'm afraid.
Absolutely. Spencer, are we able to throw that back up there real quick?
What are some groups?
We got it
So
right
we're
here.
doing a lot of talking about market internals today and yesterday, right? We're talking about these market internal dashboards and drilling in to the strongest sectors and then the strongest industry groups from there, and then finding the best stocks within those pools. That's called top-down analysis. What you're effectively doing here is the opposite, right? So this is more of like when Brian Shannon comes on, he talks about his approach, bottoms-up analysis. And a lot of people make the mistake in thinking that if you're doing bottoms-up analysis, you're not getting a read on market internals. But actually you are. You're just getting it in a very different way. So as you're flipping through these lists of the strongest stocks making new highs, what kind of themes are standing out in terms of what the strongest groups are? We just talked about a couple of them.
Dude, I mean, it's been tough to kind of keep an eye on the really reoccurring themes over this last week, just because there's been so many names on the list. But the one that was always blowing my mind was these insurers. I mean, I know you guys have been talking about them, but even prior to some of the regional banks catching up and some of kind of the home builders and stuff, these insurers that you've never even heard of that are doing specialty insurance in very obscure places were making new highs. And not only making new highs, but just making new highs day after day after day after day with very little volatility. Just kind of a steady growth.
Yeah, it's been a huge leadership group. I think, yesterday you saw some strange action from insurance. There was some very obvious rotation going on within the sectors yesterday. So if you looked at something like healthcare, they were selling the health plan providers and the health insurers and buying the riskier healthcare stocks. They're bidding up the biotechs, the medical devices. In financials, they were selling insurance stocks. Look at IAK or KIE yesterday, right? All of a sudden you see a big red candle in this leadership group, but meanwhile they're rotating that money and bidding up the banks and the capital markets firms. So
the biotechs have been also going a little berserk as of late, which is always fun as far as a risk on, risk off barometer.
Remember how they called me crazy because we were buying biotechs? JC, what are you doing? You're crazy, bro. You're crazy. All right. I guess we'll see.
The biotechs are definitely waking up here. Looking really good, some of these.
But doesn't that make sense? Small caps down at the bottom of the range. Nobody likes healthcare.
I do have an interesting channel check regarding biotechs. So yesterday I was up at the Sedona airport. They have a nice little restaurant up there and you can just kind of watch all the planes come in. And I was eating up there, stumbled into this guy. He was pulling up his little stocks app and we were kind of just talking about the market. And he's like, I don't have any biotechs. He's like, what biotech should I be buying? And I talked about one of the new highs list, or one of the names of the new highs list, which is Vertex or VRTX or whatever. I think they have a non-opioid pain medication that they're developing. But he pulled it up and he's like, it's up 14%. I can't buy this. This is too expensive. And I was like, we got a lot more room to go.
That's interesting that you're having conversations about biotech stocks at the airport.
Well, it's like a small little regional airport, it's not, there's no commercial flights coming in and out. So,
yeah. That in and of itself is interesting to me.
Airports and golf courses, man, those are the best places to have conversations about markets.
I suppose so. All right, Riley, do you want to plug your thing quickly, your newsletter?
Yeah. So if you guys want to check it out, it's a free newsletter. I put it out 5 days a week. On the weekend, I do a little bit extra work. I kind of look at the most reoccurring themes. So whether sectors, industries, that kind of stuff, and then the repeat highs. So the names that just keep coming up on the list throughout the week. You can go to popularprice.beehive.com and subscribe. Like I said, it's free. Have some fun with it. So thanks again, though, guys, for having me jump on this morning. It was fun.
Happy to have you, Riley. Happy to have you, my friend.
Great work, Riley. Keep it up.
Thanks, boys. Talk to you guys soon.
Adios.
All right, have a good one.
Riley, good little snowboarder, Riley.
He looks like he boards.
He does look like he boards. He's like
Yeah.
tall and like lanky and like long limbs. Like he's like built for that shit.
Yeah, he is very long arms.
He's
Important.
built for golf
Yeah.
too, for that matter. You know.
Definitely. So can we talk about the home builders? Do we just go right to the Lennar earnings?
I mean, that's a good entryway. That's a good news peg to talk about the homies. So yeah, Lennar, one of the 2 or 3 notable earnings reports overnight here. Earnings last night, EPS beat, sales beat, and what other headlines do I want to read? We will not give full year margin guidance at this time. Interest rate environment is rapidly evolving. No, just a top line, bottom line beat. Not much
It
more.
was a great report. Problem is, throw up chart 1 or 2 here. A lot of these gains, I think, were already more than baked into the cake going into some of these reports. So Toll Brothers, Lennar, the whole space, if you just took a closer look at Riley's table that he was showing, there were like 10 home construction stocks on there. Home builders, over the course of the last month, so the other day was like November 14th, 2 of their biggest single day performances since the COVID volatility, which is shown on the left-hand side of the screen. So these stocks have been absolutely ripping. It's like every morning I wake up, there's another gap in the home builders and the ETF itself. Just look at that move since October. So Lennar's giving some back here after an otherwise fine report, simply because the market more than priced in this beat ahead of time, it seems.
Yeah, that's a very common thing with earnings, right? Stocks that run up into their report, even if it's a good report,
especially in bull markets, if they just front run this stuff, right? They know the beat's coming, so the stock tends to move ahead of the report. Could trade options into the report that way and get out right before the report. It's often an interesting trade to make.
Can we talk about the other notable earnings report that I've got? It's not a home builder. It's Costco.
Costco, nice beat.
Yeah, Costco, nice beat, and a special.
They do this every year.
Do they do this every year?
I mean, as far as I know, maybe not during.
Oh shoot, I don't know. I don't know if I remember them doing. Anyway, a special $15 per share dividend. I think the record date is like the 28th or something. But there you go. A beat and a beat. I should mention that part too. A beat and a beat for Costco. This company prints money.
Yeah. Okay. So they don't do it every year, but they try and do it every couple of years. 2012, 2015, 2017, 2020. It's not uncommon for them to continue to reward their shareholders for owning a really, really good stock.
Yeah.
JC, you catching up on the markets over there?
I was just counting because the ability to count
is so important.
Is so underrated. The kids these days with their algorithms, right? And their beanies indoors and their long hair. You know what I'm saying, Strazza, right?
Broccoli hair.
Broccoli hair, right? Yeah. The kids these days. But for me, it's really just it's the first grade math that really helps the most, in my opinion. So I was just counting, and I didn't finish counting. You see, because the list of new highs is so long.
It's too many.
It keeps taking me longer and longer to count the amount of new highs. Imagine that, Strazza. So by my calculations, which I'm no math major, so you guys can double check my math. I'm seeing the most amount of new 52-week highs on the New York Stock Exchange that we've seen in over 30 months. 30 months since we've seen this amount of new highs on the New York Stock Exchange. 30 months.
It's pretty good. Again, we can illustrate the really, really bullish developments in breadth in all these different ways. New high indicators, this fun little percentage of stocks overbought indicator that we talked about at the top of the show today. But really, as JC continues to emphasize day in and day out here, the best way to do it, get a list of stocks and you flip through one after the next, after the next, after the next, and you really see what's going on under the hood. So and
then because these humans are so lazy, There's a huge arb, man. Huge arb. If you just count, you're way ahead of the crowd. That they want to do their, their algorithms and their formulas on the Excel and all that stuff. You know how the kids are. They love that stuff.
You know how we are cognizant of our own behavior for evidence for the market. So one thing I find myself doing more and more in bull markets is not just, like I said, taking more chances of being more aggressive in my trading, but I'm just looking at so many more individual stock charts, right? Like 2022 got boring. The beginning of 2022, at least, there was nothing, I wanted to buy flipping through all these charts. Now it's like we want to do deep dives in every other industry group, and we're diving into, the market internals and all these groups, checking out, like I said, now biotechs, real estate. There's a new group every day that we're like, we got to look into this. I find that I look at a lot more individual stock charts in bull markets, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Good.
Agreed.
All right, cool. We can go into hot corner. I know there's something there we want to hit on, or I can hit on Darden restaurants real fast. JC's favorite.
do Olive Garden.
JC's favorite Italian restaurant owner, Darden. A beat on the EPS, very, very slight sales miss, and looks like a guidance. Is that a raise? That is not a raise, but it's in line. So yeah, it's in line with estimates there on the guidance. So same store sales, same restaurant sales, whatever, up about 3% year over year, 2.8% across the board. And stock is up. Actually, I don't know what the stock is doing. What is the stock doing right now? I don't really know. DRI. We have the chart though.
It was
somewhere.
up like 1%. I was looking this
okay.
morning. I don't know. A lot of the gains were given back from this morning, though. I'm noticing here. Maybe JC do a little futures run through in a minute here.
Yeah, Darden's down 3.5%. About.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we do a quick futures rundown before the hot corner. Dow futures down 50 points. S&P futures essentially flat. NASDAQ futures flat. 30-year bond futures up a little bit, 25 basis points. Gold flat, silver flat, copper down 60 bips, oil flat. Not really much going on. Dollar mixed, some ups and downs, yields flat, volatility down a little bit. So really not much going on. And then in the old funny money, you got Bitcoin down almost 2%, about $850, and Ethereum down almost 3%.
All right. And that rundown brought to you by
Walt Disney.
I don't know. Walt Disney. Should we go to hot corner? All right.
So hot right now.
So what do you think of this old Madrigal, huh?
Okay. So we talked about Baker Bros. Was JC here for when we did the Baker Bros thing? You would have liked that. You would have.
He was not.
You would have enjoyed it, JC. You should go back. I did a whole thing about Baker Bros because they had a big winner here in Seattle Genetics. They call it CGen now. Baker Bros has been in it for almost 10 years. The buyout is now like complete. Merger's going through. You know how much money they made on this trade?
I do not. How much?
Over the course of 10 years, they made $9 billion. They made about 650%, like 7x in the stock. This is why we talk so much about Baker Bros. They just hit home run after home run, and they're the kind of company that you want to follow because they make really, really long-term bets, really, really high conviction bets too. Digging through Michael Burry's 13F or some of these other long-short hedge fund 13Fs, you don't know what's going on, right? There's all these different positions. You don't know what they have conviction about, what they don't. Baker Bros, go look at their 13F. It's very clear the bets that they're making, right?
Remember that guy that got buried? What was his name? Michael Buried.
The guy that got buried.
Michael Buried. He was. Remember all the headlines about like this $1 billion short position or something like that? Like right before the market ripped in his face. Remember? It was the guy from the movie. It was like
Michael
guy from the movie, Big Short.
Michael Burry.
Remember all the headlines about like his Big Short position, everything like that? How'd that work out, huh?
Wait, Michael Burry got buried? Is buried a verb? What does it even mean?
I don't care, but I will defend him a little bit the media misreports his filings.
First of all, who gives a shit what that guy's doing?
Yeah, great. I agree with that too. But they misreport his filings to make him sound like a crazy person. It must be so frustrating for him. Actually, he probably doesn't give a shit. So anyway, Baker Bros, we got a big one. They've been in this since 28. JC calls it Madrigal. I don't know if it's Spanish or not. They just doubled their stake. Right? They're taking their position from like about 10% ownership to almost 20% ownership here. This is going to make them the largest shareholder. Pay attention, right? When they take these really big positions, JC, over half of their portfolio was in Seattle genetics, right? So think about this. That money has to come out. The shares were bought for cash, right? So now they have $9-10 billion of dry powder that Baker Bros has to now put into this bull market. And I think they're going to be so happy to do so with biotechs just here waking up, completing reversal patterns, starting to look better. They're going to deploy that cash. And Madrigal is probably going to get more of it. So
Baker Bros, man, crushing it. Good for them. Good for them. Good, and good for us for following along. I care way more about what the Baker Bros are doing than this Burry guy.
Than anybody. They're just so good at this. So MDGL, you got to keep on your radar here for multiple reasons, right? It looks good in the world of biotechs right now, and they got
$5 billion market cap, almost.
They could take a much larger stake in this.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Anything else stood out?
Nope.
That's it.
I mean, what do you want to talk about? Go back to the list. We continue to see Keurig Dr. Pepper pop up.
Chewy? What about the Chewy?
Look, here's what I'll say about this one. I put this in the chat yesterday.
It's a piece of shit.
You can take these shots in bull markets. Fine. And a lot of these setups have been working. Buying the lower bounds, right? Buying the little bear traps or bull hook reversals. These patterns have very much been working. So go for it. But understand, first of all, you're just trading a range. You're just back into a sideways market. And it's a lower probability trade. I don't hate it, though. Listen, you know how I feel about Chewy.
Up 5%, 6%.
Chewy's at Strazza's house all the time because Strazza's a cat lady. For those of you who don't know, yeah. Strazza's like a real life cat lady.
Go look in my closet. There's just like a stack of Chewy boxes.
If you look at, we had a lot of boxes delivered while I was away, and I apparently subscribed to too many wine clubs.
I thought they were Christmas presents, but they're just Christmas presents for you.
It's Christmas in my house every day. I think I have a problem.
Is wine allowed to be just like waiting outside in the cold for you to be?
Nope, home? It was waiting in my living room.
Oh, okay.
While we were away, Annie was here and she was wrapping Christmas presents and organizing closets and like doing things that she can do when there's no kids around.
Got it.
When it comes to your time, you come to me, Spencer, and I will give you some.
So
all right.
There's a comment in the chat, and some of this stuff, it's probably because maybe you're hanging out on Reddit too much. It says, what if Chewy, where is it? What if GameStop takes
Chewy private? That's a joke.
Oh, that is a joke? Okay.
That's how I interpret it.
Some of these GameStop people, man, they're not joking.
I know.
That can't happen. It would be the other way around.
Let's try to steer clear of that.
Yeah. They do have a lot of cash, though. They have almost $1 billion in cash that they're going to let this lunatic trade with. So this will be interesting.
He's not a lunatic. He's the CEO.
I think he's absolutely crazy to be doing what he's doing.
I don't understand what's going on. What did I miss?
No, we talked last week.
No.
Nobody thinks it's a big deal.
You were here for this, Jason. I thought you were.
He's allowed to YOLO with the cash.
Right.
So what's the problem?
It's just weird, man. That's what.
I guess maybe weird for you.
No, like objectively weird. How many CEOs trade with the company's treasury?
Not a thing. Public companies don't do this. It's not a thing.
Listen. Being the CEO, your number one responsibility is to maximize shareholder value, and if the best way you can do that is to YOLO the cash, then knock yourself out.
Right. The best way to do that is to not buy your own stock. That's kind of the implication. That's the implication, right?
It's really simple, and you agree with this. You're a public company. If you believe in your company, buy your own shares back. You're not a hedge fund. It's ridiculous. It's really
I
crazy.
Now you
guess.
are.
Who cares? Let him do what he's got to do.
See, they're lucky because their shareholder base is so just loony from all that they've been through owning the stock over the years that they're more than okay with this. Try to do this at any other company. It's not even a conversation. Never
As
happened.
long as the board's cool with it and that's what they wanted to do, then what the hell's it? Who cares?
Yeah.
He's also y'all,
That's
he's
it.
the largest shareholder. He's on the board. He basically he's running the company. So whatever. We'll see.
All right. Let's do hot corner. We had I don't know, Steve, did you see the chart of the day yesterday?
You mean
in
the
hot
chart
corner?
report?
That's what I meant. Chart report. Did you see chart of the day and chart report? No? You're about to. I think you'll like
Pretty
it.
famous.
No, look at
Oh
that.
wow,
Chart of the day.
that was a good one.
Is this the first time that you're over the chart of the day?
No.
No.
Pat had a tough time deciding yesterday between this chart and another one of my charts, I think.
Are your parents proud of you?
They're always proud. What kind of
I'm proud because my dad does read the chart report, so I hope he did see it.
Listen, not for nothing. It's a good chart. It's a good chart.
Listen, sometimes you got to give the people what they want. But yeah, we already talked about it. What else we got in here?
The quote was from Alan Shaw, Spencer. I think what is it? It's just ageism. You just find whatever old white guys and you think they're all the same. Walter Deemer, Alan Shaw, what's the difference? Is that how it is, Spencer? I see you, dog. I see you.
What? What? I don't even know what I did or didn't do.
It's Alan Shaw, not Walter Deemer, who said the most bullish thing the market can do is get overbought and stay so.
Okay.
Just move on.
I'm so confused right now. Yeah, 7-week winning streak. It would be a huge surprise if that didn't happen. So that's always fun. I'll like that. What else did we have here?
But there was one time. There was this one time when it wasn't higher. 8 weeks later.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cute. I don't know what we're gonna do with that information, but all right.
I don't know. I think it's fun. Small caps. We've been talking about that.
Listen, overhead supply in these small caps now, like Riley and I were just talking about. It's not just the Dow and the NASDAQ back at big overhead supply zones at their old all-time highs, but look at the resistance level that small caps are running into. It's not to say that they can't rip right through it in this market. You know,
First of all, they're nowhere near those highs yet. I mean, they still got another.
what are you talking about? Small caps, the range highs, the pivot highs.
IWM, like 198, 200.
Russell 2000. There's
Yeah.
a shelf of highs right there. So I think that's an overhead supply zone. It's a logical level for some corrective action.
It's 15 points higher than here.
What are you talking about? IWM. I'll bring the chart to show you what I'm talking about. No, the pivot highs, right? You have a high from this summer. You have a high from Q1, all right around 200. You have a high from last summer, all around 200. We're trading at 198 here today.
All right, we're already at 98. Sorry, I had to update my charts. Excuse me.
Yeah. Oh.
No, you're right. When you're right, you're right. Stand corrected.
Oh no, everything's reversing on me here today. Yikes. Wow.
Everything's reversing. The market opened 10 minutes ago. Let them dance, man.
Oh boy.
It's been too easy all week.
I know.
Easy for who? Easy to do what?
Buy anything and make money.
It's been really hard to not make money all year, Spencer.
Yeah, but it's been easy. It's been easier. It's gotten easier and easier and easier. That's what we've been talking about.
Everything has been going up. You know, here's something interesting. I was on a Spaces the other day. I was just overhearing, didn't participate. So we tend to hear this phrase tossed around, stock pickers market.
I hate
And
that.
the indexes are not working as well as everything else, right? So they call it a stock pickers market, right? Which means you can no longer just throw your money in the diamonds or the Qs or SPY and pretty much outperform in those, like 2023 was. You were in those big indexes.
When you see dispersion, stock pickers market is when dispersion increases. Is that what you mean?
I guess the point I'm trying to make is when they call it a stock pickers market, it's actually easier to pick stocks than it usually is. It doesn't mean like it's hard to pick stocks. It actually means in that environment, typically, if the leaders stop leading, then everything beneath the surface starts working. It's a stock pickers market. Breadth is expanding. When you look through the individual charts, there's actually more and more that you could pick from. So stock pickers market is not a bad thing. I think it's actually easier to pick stocks in the stock pickers market than otherwise, like a market like we had in 2023. You agree?
I think it goes back to the indexes, right? If the sectors, if the leading groups are the large components of the major indexes,
Yeah.
right, then it's harder to pick stocks that are going to outperform, right?
Yeah.
When the largest components are not the leading groups and the indexes are having a hard time moving forward because of that. However, underneath the surface, you're seeing massive winners underneath the surface. Would that be considered a stock pickers market? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm bullish stock pickers markets.
I'm bullish bull markets. I'm in.
Isn't it always kind of a stock pickers market though? That's why I don't like that phrase because
It's a stupid phrase.
yeah, okay. I'm looking at the 52-week highs and lows. Hershey just made a 52-week low.
And it's been really weak for a really long time.
Yeah.
Utilities got a nice bounce.
Dude, I love how Mr. Beast is just dominating this this business, this world. It's crushing it.
Who?
Mr. Beast.
I don't know. I mean, he's got some candy out there, but I don't know.
Yeah, because Mr. Beast is like, listen, the two biggest candy companies are 150 years old or whatever it is, almost 200 years old, Hershey's and Mars. And he's like, nobody who started that company is even alive anymore, right? Anybody running that company was not there. Like, so these are just, these are just businesses ripe for disruption.
I don't know.
You got a guy like Mr. Beast with a monster audience. He could launch any company at all in any industry he wants. So he's targeting this particular industry that's dominated by two companies that are a zillion years old. Maybe not too dissimilar to a Tesla dominating versus a GM and a Ford, for example.
I don't know. I tried his chocolate. I didn't think it was very good. So,
I think he's making a fortune though. So,
yeah, he probably is.
I
don't think it was very.
I don't even think about staples in markets like this.
Well,
I mean, like these defensive stocks, these defensive groups, like it's just not where your head should be right now. We're talking about breadth thrusts that we've never seen before. New highs list, making whatever, highest level since whatever JC said earlier. Right? Breadth continuing to expand. More and more risk on groups working and outperforming. Staples, utilities, even some of these healthcare companies. I think a lot of these mega cap techs are being treated as defensive at this point. Seeing profits come out of them and move into other more offensive vehicles. Right? I just think that's an important way to think during a bull market is you do want the risky stuff. You don't want the defensive stuff. You don't really want the bond proxies, right? Safety trades.
Okay. This is going to be the lowest close for staples relative since 2000.
They all look terrible. I mean, the low volatility index too. You want to be in high beta, not low vol, right? We want to be in discretionary, not staples. It's important to think in the offense versus defense way, especially in a market that's just raging like this.
What about emerging markets versus U.S.
offense? Do those ratios have to stop falling though?
They didn't this week, you don't think?
No, I don't think so. We were looking at them on Tuesday on here? New lows in the ex-US SPY ratio.
Emerging markets ex-US versus US hanging in there. This thing bottomed in August.
Emerging markets ex-China. Yeah.
Emerging markets ex-China relative to the US bottomed in August.
Listen,
we are in December.
I added 2 Chinese names to my trading portfolio this week. 2. Wow. Super heavy in the China right now.
We'll talk about them on Monday. Let's talk about them on Monday's conference call. What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
All right, I want to run through some headlines real fast, in no particular order. Intel announced their AI chip, trying to compete with NVIDIA and now AMD. So they have their own AI chip for these massive computers. I don't know. They obviously have to now go and sell it, but at least they have one.
Hey, it's a bull market when even Intel stock is going up. It's been ripping.
Rivian yesterday announced some sort of partnership with AT&T. I didn't look too closely into it, but Rivian had a great day. But as we've been saying, most stocks did. Pfizer raising their dividend, trying to get investors on their side. What else did I have here? Palantir was awarded a nice contract from the U.S. Army. Stock usually likes to. That stock is a little bit memey, so it can rise on random contract news.
What,
Yeah.
Palantir?
A little memey.
Yeah, it's a little memey.
In the contract business, so
yeah.
not bullshit.
I love how that's like a new way to describe a stock. It's a little memey.
I mean, it is.
It's cultish. I don't know if it's memey.
What's the difference?
I don't know.
I don't think there's a difference. I think they're one and the same. We call that a synonym.
Yeah.
Cinnamon? All right. Actually, I don't know if I had any other headlines. I think that GM is doing layoffs, but they're not a surprise. And no, that was actually that was it. That was all the headlines that it's quiet out there.
The jobs.
Oh, thank you. Whoever mentioned triple witch or quad witch, whatever you want to refer to it as, witching today. So
yeah, you got 4 witches.
Yeah, but nobody trades the index options, right? Or not the index option. Well, what's the one that no one trades?
Stock futures.
Thank you, stock futures. Thank you.
Oh my God! You see this new COVID variant stuff?
What? No.
China detects 7 people infected with new COVID variant. China's Disease and Control and Prevention Bureau issues.
Dude, those people suck. They can't do anything right.
I'm trying to figure out what's making the market reverse here. The PMI came in pretty weak too. Actually, services is pretty hot.
Couldn't it just be some basic
reversing? Which way? Nasdaq's up 40 basis points. Which way are you saying it's reversing?
No, we were up a lot more this morning. We're up a lot more this morning.
Let them dance, Strazza. Let them dance.
No, I know. Listen. Just paying attention here.
All right, I know JC has some stuff for recess. I got to go to recess too. So should we?
48.
I know, but it's Friday, man.
It's Friday, man.
Coinbase. SEC denies the petition for rulemaking filed on behalf of Coinbase. What else is new?
You know what I haven't done? I meant to do. Coinbase every year does their transparency report, where they just release all this information about their interactions. They're like their cybersecurity infrastructure and all the things that they're doing. I
sent you guys the transparency report.
Yeah, well, you didn't send it to me, but I saw it on my own, and I didn't.
Well, I dropped it in chat. I thought maybe you saw it. Yeah,
no,
so it's a transparency report. They do it every month.
I thought it was every year.
Whatever. They do an annual one every year, but yes, they do file something similar on a monthly basis.
Yeah, okay.
In their focus report. Basically, the point you're trying to make is this company is like radically transparent. Like it's crazy. They're far more transparent than most of these Wall Street banks.
They are as transparent, yes, as anyone. I mean, they're more than, especially their crypto peers.
They take securities rules and regulations to a whole nother level. Like they're so serious about this stuff. And I think it's just great because I mean, they realize that they are in a space now, leading a space that investors are very wary about. So that's why they're doing this. They're trying to instill confidence in their platform and what they do. And I think it's awesome. Good for them. And those reports are just so boring, but really what stands out more than anything is that they get absolutely harassed by government regulators. They tally up all of the requests that they get from different regulatory bodies. Did you see those numbers? We're talking thousands and thousands of regulatory requests a year. So imagine their compliance department. Woo.
Yeah.
What?
Thank you, Bill, in the chat. I literally forgot we talked about this yesterday. And this is not why necessarily the market is reversing here, but we literally discussed yesterday SPY going ex-div today. So something to keep in mind.
I pinged Sean the other day, just so everybody knows, and I said, I don't think we're short Lily enough. This thing is it's over. It's over for this stock. See these new relative lows?
You want to add to the positions? Shotty baby.
I think it's rolling. It is rolling.
Our chief YOLO officer wants to add a kicker. What do you think?
right?
What is it?
Look at
Well,
this.
we have our analyst meeting today, so we can
Right.
talk about it then.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
you'll figure it out then.
Ooh, we're so fancy with our analyst
All right.
meeting on a Friday.
I'm doing recess.
Kind of awkward. Fridays are a bad day for analyst meetings.
All right. Did you all see that Blackstone holiday video going around yesterday?
No, but you keep talking about it.
It's funny. In their defense, it was definitely meant to be super campy and stupid, but I thought it was hilarious. I can play it for you if you want. It's a minute 50 seconds long. And
Every time you try to play a video, it doesn't work.
no, but this is different. I actually prepared this time. I actually downloaded it. I did the whole thing.
Play it, please, because I haven't seen it.
All right.
But we're gonna crush it.
It's the alternatives era. We buy assets, then we make them better. It's the alternatives era. Build with Blackstone.
Steve and Pete, they founded this place.
Our founders in '85 with 400K. They had a dream of quick ascent. Now $1 trillion under management. We look for market mega trends, invest in life sciences, get ahead of AI, always know what to buy.
Look at our brands, you can tell.
Our superpower is our scale, great returns for institutions, and private wealth solutions. Stay calm, stay positive, never give up. Never give up, we don't give up. Helping build wealth and security, a name you can trust.
Not to be confused with BlackRock.
It's the alternatives era. We buy assets, then we make them better. It's the alternatives era.
Build with Blackstone.
We lead in private equity.
It's true.
Real estate and secondaries. It's the alternatives era.
Build with Blackstone.
This tour rolls on.
See,
That was really good.
wasn't that great?
That was really good, Spencer. Yeah.
It's great. I think it's hilarious, and I don't even think it's bad. I think it's good, actually.
I mean, that line is just so hilarious. We
Which line?
we
They're
buy,
all-
we buy assets and then make them better. I mean,
I like that we're not BlackRock.
yeah.
So
Here,
good
let's-
for them. Good for them for having some fun. It makes them happy. You know,
Yes.
God bless.
Absolutely.
You know, whatever.
Listen, these
Does
companies-
do these sort of videos come out in bear markets?
that was really good.
I don't know, man.
Off the chart.
Bull market video, bro.
These-
Because think about it. If it was a bear market and layoffs and all that stuff, you think they would be able to publish you're like, all right,
Probably not.
10,000 of you are fired, but hey, watch this funny video that we were making.
Listen, if I would say even more than the banks, this group is red hot right now. These asset managers, look at all of them. Look at Carlyle Group, CG. That base is just going. Look at BlackRock. BlackRock's base, BLK, is just going. KKR is a leader. Looks great. These things have gone absolutely gangbusters. They're very, very, they're as impacted by interest rates as anybody. Right. So for the same reason that REITs and banks are ripping, these guys are really benefiting from rates coming off the way that they have this week. So some big moves here, some beautiful base breakouts. And these guys will pay you some juicy dividends too.
Look at Raymond James, for example.
Yep. These stocks are red hot. And I loved that commercial. Good for them.
Yep.
We buy assets and make them better. That's
It knows what it is. It's so bad, it's good. It knows what it is.
they're talking about asset-backed securities and securitizing different assets. That's what they mean by that. And that's what these companies do. They are absolute, ninjas at it. They're excellent at what they do. And they do serve a critical role in capital markets too, from a liquidity perspective. So,
My other recess was there's a really good article on Bloomberg this morning about authorized participants and how even though the ETF industry has exploded in size,
Yep.
the number of authorized participants, these are the people that actually like keep the price in line.
Mhm.
That is really small. The
They're
number
the
of firms that do
gatekeepers.
this, the number of firms that do this has not grown. There's like 3 big ones, and it was just kind of about how this $1 trillion asset class, not asset class really, but asset type is really just hinging on a very few number of people to actually keep prices in check, and they're not under any real obligation to do so. They do it because they make money doing it, but they're not obligated to do it.
Is Citadel one of the biggest ones now?
No, but they sort of mentioned offhandedly that Citadel is getting into the game. Citadel, Jane Street, Virtue, they're getting into the game, but it's dominated by Bank of America, JP Morgan, and who's the third? Shoot.
Virtue's been doing it for a long time, but they want a bigger chunk of this space. Listen, if you ever want to go down the rabbit hole, and you're right, Spencer, it's fascinating, the whole process and the mechanics behind the ETF industry. It's called the create and redeem process. And you'll realize, oh, wow, these guys are making some big bucks off of this. And they are. It's a great business.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got to go in a couple minutes, but I just a little more observation from Disney. It's like Times Square. You know how like New Yorkers say Times Square is like a petting zoo, like where if you want to see what like people look like in the rest of the country, like go to Times Square, right? Like that's how I didn't make that up. That's just what New Yorkers say, right? So in the same way that Times Square is like a petting zoo, Disney's like that too, where you get to like really see what people look like in the rest of the country. Oh my God, these people have fat coming out of places that I didn't know fat could come out of, and it's really, really bad. And it's almost like obesity is just like accepted, like, hey, I'm just gonna be a fat fuck for the rest of my life, and that's just what it is. And being in Disney and being a fat ass is hard because you're putting your daughter on the shoulders, you're walking all over these damn parks, like
you're walking like 10,000-20,000 steps in a day.
Yeah, more than 20. Morgan my wife has the watch, so she's keeping me posted on how many steps. I'm like, it's more than I usually take, which is fine. Surprisingly, she was barely exceeding her average step count, which is crazy to think about. Good for her. But these people are the rest of America, because like where I live and where I go, and like people, we have obesity, of course, but the rest of the country is. Whew.
Hey, how are the lines?
I was just gonna ask, how crowded was it?
It was crowded, but you don't wait in lines in Disney. You pay to skip the lines.
Oh, so you okay.
Like, you have the line.
No, but not everyone does that. There are still lines though.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't wait in lines.
Fine.
People love waiting in lines. I am not one of those people.
No, they don't. But it's a fact of life if you don't do the Genie Plus, whatever it's called.
Dude, you got to get the Genie, and then you got to pay to the Genie, and then you got to get the Lightning Pass, and you got to get the Lightning Pass, and every time you use the Lightning, you got to pay per head on the Lightning. Dude, they got some racket, man. They got some racket.
Did you get some rain while you were there? Was it obnoxious? It rained a lot.
A hot second, just one day.
Oh, okay.
Not bad.
All right. Well, JC, we missed you. We're glad to have you back. Do you need a vacation from your vacation? Disney's not like a relaxing.
Yeah, like I like to say, it's not a vacation; it's a trip.
Yeah, right.
When you go with a 3-year-old and 2 1-year-olds, it's not a vacation. But I dropped like 4 or 5 pounds. Nice. It's a workout, dude. Baby up, baby down, parade over here, this ride over there, got to get on the metro rail, monorail, go here. I mean, it's just nonstop. So yeah, I dropped some LBs.
Yeah. Nice.
Unlike JC, I've never been on Maria Bartiromo in the morning, but apparently our breath chart was featured on Maria this morning. So shout out Mike Lee. What a good friend of ours and a friend of the show. Apparently he took it on there and talked about it this morning. So that's cool.
Mike Lee, who I need to get back on the show.
Some Mike Lee.
Yeah. All right. That'll be a wrap for us. We will not be doing...
I live across the street from Mike Lee's high school buddy.
Dude. Really?
They were on the high school football team together. Yeah.
So that's extra funny because JC and Mike are college buddies. So that's awesome.
Well, we weren't like buddies. He was a year older, but I was friends with the rugby guys, so I would be at his house, and you know, yeah. Like I feel like we're closer now than we were then.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, we know what to pick today. We'll hopefully be back next week. So this is a wrap for the channel here this week. If you are in our inner circle, in our portfolio accelerator program, we'll see you in an hour for our weekly analyst meeting. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Go make some money. And any questions, comments, concerns, email us questions@stockmarketmedia.com. That's it. Final words?
Happy Friday, everybody.
All right.
Get some rest.
Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs.